Yeah, you go, and I'm just gonna... See, my issue is, if I'm straight,
Yeah.
the implication that you're crooked bothers the hell out of me.
But I'm not crooked.
That's what I mean. Like,
But
I think the idea that just the words already started.
I think that's straight, just sort of, you say the word straight and it kind of is indicative of the norm.
See, and that I find like offensive because
but I don't find that
ludicrous.
I don't find that offensive. I actually find sort of being on the not straight path.
Yeah, see that, but that's very so. That's.
But I'm okay with being slightly abnormal. I'm okay with not being the kid on the beaten path. It's not, but you know what? I think inherently when we are kids, we don't want to be on the beaten path and be on the same path as everybody else. We want to fight the institution. We want to fight against man. And you know what? I'm gay, so not mainstream.
But I think
although it is becoming more mainstream.
But I think what you just described is a level of adolescence like junior high, where you said was the most difficult for you.
Yeah.
But I think as children, like grade school, under the age of 8, 9, under 10, I think you're trying to fit in.
Of course you try to fit in when you're a kid because nobody wants to be teased and picked on like I was and I don't know if you were.
And then as adults in high school, I wanted to just be myself.
Well, no, because even in high school, it's still, I mean, you know, I came of age in, 1989, 1990, when you said you were gay, you automatically had AIDS, and nobody wanted that implication of doing it, so it was even worse then, because it wasn't even just being called a faggot or a sissy, it was also you had AIDS.
And that was just the scourge.
And that was just, and it still is the scourge, and it still is the plague, but it's disassociated itself with that it had in the late.
Well, luckily it got into
white
suburbia.
Luckily, that's not making it on. Oh my god!
My humor is too sarcasm. No, I just think.
Well, unfortunately, had it not made it into had AIDS and so forth made it into the mainstream America, then there wouldn't have been any funding for it. As sad as that sounds,
it is pathetic. It is absolutely pathetic.
You figure for 3 years, 2 years, or whatever it was that Reagan was in office, he didn't even. He wouldn't even say the word.
It was a state of denial.
It wasn't even AIDS. It was the gay cancer.
Oh.
That's what they called it.
I was trying to think of what
they called it the gay cancer.
What the proper little...
So to come of age at that time when you're fighting with your sexuality, and there were characters on screen. Granted, it was like one character in Dynasty who then went back to being straight.
Yeah, but they straightened that out.
They straightened that out, exactly. It's the same with Billy Crystal's character on Soap. He was gay and then he went straight.
He was gay?
Yeah, his character was gay, little pup guy. And his character was gay and then he went straight. So as soon as AIDS hit, they took every gay character on TV and made him straight. And if they dealt with AIDS, it was usually the straight girl getting AIDS, and it was like an after-school special. So
because girls get in trouble.
Girls get in trouble.
Guys
with boys.
get girls.
But also it's the implication of the only way to get it is at the time was to be a receiver, and that's considered a very feminine thing.
Oh God! So we even had to.
In a closet. It was all.
So are you going to edit this, or are we going to address the camera in any way?
I think we should just address the camera. Hi, I'm John, and this is.
I'm Mike,
and we're just here to say it gets better. We all have struggles growing up, and I know that I did when I was a kid. I got teased a lot. I got beat up consistently. I remember playing basketball with a bunch of kids in my neighborhood and being told to go play cheerleader with the girls. I remember in middle school, I got teased for going to an all boys private school. It was mostly white, and the white boys would come by and rub my head because they wanted to see if my hair felt different. I remember when they first tried to make Martin Luther King Day a national holiday, and the white kids in my class literally were running around calling it Martin Luther Coon Day. Right in front of me. There were 5 black kids in a school of 400 kids. 7th and 8th grade.
Wow.
So my parents finally took me out of that private school, put me into a public school in 9th grade. And I remember getting beat up in my math class by a kid that I found out was later related to my godmother. He kicked my ass in front of me.
So it was family.
It was family. He kicked my ass in front of the whole class while the class stood around and cheered. I remember a girl who was pretty much a pain in the ass, who teased me every day lunchroom, in crowded lunchroom, and she asked me straightforward, "Are you gay?" And I felt my heart die.
Well, don't you give her kudos for addressing it?
No, because she was, again, being gay, still like today, you say gay, you say faggot, it is a bad thing. It was a negative connotation. She was trying to call me out in front of the entire lunchroom class, and they all heard her. And I didn't know what to say. I mean,
So
now
she was using it for the spectacle,
yes,
for the event.
Exactly. And she, I remember going to my cousin afterwards, because my cousin was in school, she was a year younger than me, and I told her what happened, and my cousin just looked at me and said, "Well, are you?"
Oh.
One circumstance that I don't really talk about a lot, I remember it stands out kind of in my head of being teased, is coming home with my mother one day, and there was a mulberry bush across the street from my house, and we came driving up into the driveway, and the kids in the neighborhood wrote "Sissy" across my parents' white door in berries. Nice. And they broke glass around the front steps, and time stopped. My heart dropped. My mom was talking and saying something, but it was very.
You knew it was addressed to you. You knew it was.
She knew.
Yeah.
You know, as my mother asked me, "Why would this happen? Why would these kids do this to you?" It was. She was like a Peanuts character. I just.
Do you think your mother was aware of your sexuality?
Of course.
At that point?
I think everybody was. Well, you know, and here's the good thing, and I'm very lucky, because when my mother figured out who the kids were, I literally could hear my mother like over 2 streets over and hear her screaming. Yeah. And the kids came over and cleaned off the door, and they apologized to my mother, they apologized to my father, but they never apologized to me. And then I think a few weeks later, I got into an argument with a girl. I think I was trying to date, yeah, who knew? And her sister stepped into it and started fighting with me and picked up a rock, called me a faggot and a sissy, and a rock about that big, and slammed me in the side of the head with it. And the one and only time I remember my older sister going out and screaming at this girl, like, "You could have killed him, blah, 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 blah." So contemplating suicide was a constant. I was constantly teased. I was constantly being beat up. I was constantly being berated. It wasn't until I got to college, I got into theater, that things got better. I met a guy who was fully out. We didn't date, but he was just the icon of gay men to me. And I will say his name. His name was Michael Capelli, and he was just him. And girls loved him, straight guys loved him. He was just the most amazing individual to me, and he became a very good friend of mine later on, and he was my "it gets better." And here I am now at 39. I said it, I'm 39. I turned 39 last week. And
see, now, okay, so that does date things. We've probably known each other for like 20 years. I met you in high school.
Yes.
Probably 10th, 11th, 12th grade.
Yes.
And in the theater, all those things, and being the straight guy. Dating plenty of girls, as you did yourself.
Trying to find myself.
Trying to find ourselves, period. And I think I was just oblivious to gay or straight. I mean, there have been incidents in my life and things of that nature with family, and just incidents. And I just thought it was just life. I don't know, either it was my parents or my upbringing or my oblivious going through life. I never put
So you didn't
good, bad, indifferent.
But it's not good or bad. It's a recognition of somebody said they were gay and you didn't automatically.
Yeah, I did.
Because we had
it was. I mean, like I think we started with AIDS, and I was definitely like I was a rock and roll guy, so I was always paying attention to heavy metal and my idols and all those things and like that. And when someone like Freddie Mercury came out or something like that, I was like, wow, okay. So, you know, and they're immortal. They can't be touched by disease. And I think that's how AIDS came into my life. And it was like, it's out there. And then it became, well, anybody can get it and wear a condom. And of course, I was probably too oblivious to worry about teen pregnancy. But, you know, so, it's like, so at that point, did things like AIDS and gay cancers and you can get it too silly straight white boy. And it's like, I don't know what these mean.
But you know what?
I really,
even before AIDS, I mean, there was this whole thing of people just thought that, being gay was considered a mental disease.
oh God.
You know what I mean? And
yeah.
they would send people to
I've had to, like,
insane asylums because
see,
they
again,
were
but
gay.
my obliviousness, like, as an adult, I've had to try to wrap my heads around those ways of thinking. Oh, born, inherent.
Yeah, but you know what? I hate
genetic.
to say,
Like,
Mike. I mean, and it's nothing, not putting you down.
No,
but you're 6 foot God,
Yeah,
and you're like, God knows how much.
yeah, but I would
weigh.
get picked on because of that.
But
the tough little
but
4 foot
really?
guy would walk in and go, "I'm going to pick a fight with him."
But
just
seriously,
because."
and like, if you went grr, he's gonna go flying.
and it would usually work out.
I'm
that way.
5 foot nothing. I think I graduated high school at 117 pounds.
So there was more of a physical.
There was more of the
test,
physical. There was the kid. I can pick on you. We can't define your race, so we're gonna pick on you because of that. Because I was constantly told I'm not white enough, but I'm not really black.
Yeah.
I didn't get that.
We were always a little too dark.
I wasn't the most masculine thing in high school and in elementary school and so forth. So I got picked on for that. And I said this, and I will constantly say this, and it wasn't coming out. I wasn't afraid of saying to anybody I was gay. I was afraid that people would think I was less of a man and less masculine. Not that there's anything wrong with femininity and being male, but for me, it was being seen as less of a person. And maybe it was because of upbringing and in my household of being a man meant a certain thing. And I was just like, fine, I'm gay, but that does not make me any less of a man. I don't want to be anything other than a man. And even if you do want to be something other, if you're transgender, if you're going through all those things, it's okay now. There's nothing wrong with it. We need to define ourselves on our own terms. And it's hard when you're going through that. And I think at any age, and I don't know if you questioned it, at like 13, 14, 15 years old, everything is major.
And I just think everything's sexy. So, I don't know. It's horrible. You say I'm the 6 foot guy. Yeah, okay, I'm 6 feet. I walk into the room. Most people go, okay, hello, and say hi. But I've just never had to define it in any way, except there have been times when the masculinity's been called into play, and I think it's only been by people who have been endowed with their own.
Of course, and then
that is the root of the bullying.
Yeah.
You've got to come to understand this. I mean, I have 2 children of my own, and that's what I'm trying to explain.
Mm-hmm.
If someone's coming at you, they're probably just as afraid, or if not more afraid than you are.
They're scared to death, and
we all go through it. And
we're still going through it.
This acne just won't go away. And you said how old we are. It's just life. And
I don't know what that is. Just ignore it.
Take a minute to ignore that. But it's life.
It gets. Look, we're in our late 30s. We went through struggles in life. We both have good jobs. Mike has a wonderful wife, a great family. I have a good job. I have wonderful friends, gay, straight, black, white, purple, green. Okay, maybe not purple and green. But
I think it's having that support around you and knowing who you can and can't.
And if you're being bullied, if you're having trouble, keep talking, keep saying, keep screaming, go to your friends, go to your teachers, go to the principal, go to the superintendent, keep doing what you have to do because somebody will stand beside you, somebody will help you out, don't be ignored, don't be silent. And if you're thinking about taking your life because you're being bullied, you're gay, straight, whatever, it gets better. Don't do it because you're robbing humanity from your beauty, and this world just needs to be a more beautiful place. Focus that negative energy into something positive, into music, into writing, into friendships, into anything that you can until you get the situation better.
Everybody has something to offer, and you have something inside of yourself, no matter what time of the day it is.
Yes.
Take the time to just bring it out.
It gets better.
It gets better.